Hey there.
Hey Jordan, how are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Hanging in there, thanks.
Yeah.
Yep, living the crippled dream, so to speak.
So what was the final diagnosis?
I have a torn rotator cuff.
Oh,
Yes, I'm living the lovely immobilized dream right now. I've got an immobilizer probably for another week or so, and then on to PT.
yeah. My
So,
mom just went through that like a year ago. She fell skiing. She thought she tore her knee, and she was
oy.
all like upset about her knee. She's gonna have to surgery, all this, and she like didn't realize like her knee was actually fine, and she had torn her rotator cuff when she fell and braced herself.
Yeah, and it's funny. I was joking with the doctor. I did what they tell you to do in school. You duck and roll, right? You
Yeah.
fall, you tuck your shoulder in, and you roll.
Yeah.
That's how they teach you to fall. It just apparently they don't tell you even if you fall that way, you still get hurt. But I was a very active kid. I played college sports. I was on a first name basis with the emergency room at a very young age. So it had been a couple of years since I was back. It was nice to see the familiar place. They
Yeah.
spruced it up a bit in the last couple of years. But yeah, thank God it was my left hand. I'm still a functioning human being, which makes
There you
things
go.
significantly easier. So,
Yeah.
and how are things with you guys? I hear it was the girls had an exciting visit over the last couple of days, and it sounds
Yeah.
like I
So
can't tell you how upset I am. I'm not going to be at closing party.
So what have
You know,
they? So I know they were talking like I know on as of Wednesday, which is the last I was at any meetings, they were
yeah.
hopefully going to get Mercedes Benz. I don't know if that finalized or not.
It looked like they did, and it looked like AJR is going to be performing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so funny.
and
Like
again,
someone had mentioned their name like 2 months ago, and I'm like, I don't know who this is. And then I'm like,
yep,
now I see them on the radio like all the time. I'm like, and I knew like the one song they did with the guy from Weezer anyway. Uh,
exactly. Oh no, 100, and that's the joking part, right? Because I do all the registration stuff, I'm going to end up peeling out of Atlanta early and going down to Detroit to set them up.
God, yeah,
When the whole team walked in and Jeremy was like, "Yeah, we're thinking AJR." I'm the only one on the team with like any idea who they were. I was like, "Yep, no, you guys have fun. Thank you for giving me one moment to feel young." I was like, I usually have that moment of like I'm the old fart on the team, so I really thoroughly appreciate that one moment, guys.
it was funny. I was like kind of like thinking through my schedule, and I like they're trying to get some of us to not host, and I'm like, I can't do that to my kids. But it's
Yeah,
also like my wife's like, you sure? Because I've got to work that whole week, and I'm
yeah,
like, you know what? I'll make sure like I skip one or two of the nights. Like I don't need to be at the aquarium or whatever. I definitely actually don't want to go to the other thing because I hate that place,
the
Nitro
Nitro
Zone.
Zone.
I hate it. Um,
Oh no, that's quite an adamant hate there,
as a
Jeremy.
parent, like it's just one of those places I cringe when I go there. Um,
Oh man.
so I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll skip that night. I'm like, but I'm not missing the closing ceremony.
There you go. Hi, Lori, Carissa, are you guys on the line with us?
Yes. Can you
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I hear that we were just joking. I hear that Jordan and Sam came back from a great visit. You guys have some amazing closing ceremony stuff going on that I'm very sad I'm going to be in Detroit for. You guys live
Yes.
watch from the hotel, please? Please.
We can we
But
can we can FaceTime.
it sounds like there are incredible things going on. So a huge mazel and congratulations to. I was very excited to hear the updates you guys are working on over there.
Thank you. So
Sounds like some good things are going. I mean, the Super Bowl thing is pretty big. Anyways, anywho, exciting, cannot wait. Thank you guys for taking the time this afternoon. This is sort of one of those just general check-ins, just to see how you guys have been doing, get a little bit of a sense of sort of where you guys stand, how the customer service process has been so far, and really just now that you've been in the system for a little bit, answer any questions you may have about how it's been. And I know, Lori, you had reached out to me a little while ago with an email, so I'd love to sort of take a peek at that as well and just make sure that there's anything you guys have encountered along the way that you're comfortable sort of working those pieces in the system. So
great.
sort of start with, user experience and community experience and sort of what that process has been like for you guys so far. So as of yesterday afternoon, we were looking at sort of 12 primary household registers in the system with 3 additional family members, 10 volunteers. It looks like, you guys are going to have a tremendous local delegation this year, and you already have a bunch of kids in. We're looking at 87 athletes already in the system. Again, you can see the 29 coaches and chaperones, the 4 delegation heads. The interesting part is that Andre wasn't in there yet. So we probably want to get him in there and get him registered, especially just because people may be coming to him with questions. So if we can give him a little nudge from the inside to get himself in there and get himself registered, that would be great. And then I just wanted to talk to you guys a a little bit and see, have you gotten any feedback yet? Again, I know the numbers are somewhat limited, but how has it been going? How has communicating the process been? And sort of what have people been sharing with you?
Well, so the link for host families and volunteers is going live now, today.
Okay.
Like everybody's going to get an email that filled out a general interest form or went to a parlor meeting or had kids, go through the tryout process. So that's all happening today. Yesterday, we sent an email out with our invitation to individual sports athletes, and I think it was like 280 something kids that were expecting to register. And these 87 athletes that you see registered already, I mean, it was like 260. One of the numbers is 280. One of the numbers is 260, I think.
That's amazing.
That they've gone in and registered, like on the JCC website, but now Andre will have an email. I think it's scheduled to go out on the 15th, reminding people that they need to go into the system to register. And we had our website switched over to, like, if you go to the website now and across the top navigation bar where it says sign up, it will now have the link to the RegPack.
Great. So it'll all be interesting.
And that's going to go on the rotator as well.
Perfect.
So hopefully RegPack is going to start moving now with those things.
I think, Lori, you really nailed it on the head is the one thing you want to make sure that, sort of Andre's staying on top of it and monitoring those lists, right? Because you're going to have those interest forms where you have those 200 plus kids, and you're going to want to make sure that you're going into the system and you're checking those regularly. So you guys may want to have a touch point with him and just make sure he's comfortable looking in the back end. Again, his rights and his viewpoint are going to be limited just to the athletes in your area. And again, I'll reach out to him as well and make sure if he has any questions on there to support him. But just making sure he knows that, you should be monitoring those two lists and following up where it's needed and making the push to get those guys into the system so that they're registered and sort of complete.
Quick question. We had talked about in one of our first meetings, touch points to people that are on the system. So when you get a chance, will you some of those are pre-programmed already, right? We talked about that. Those letters are there. And then is there a timing list?
Yep. So actually, Lori, you're jumping ahead just a little bit. It's a little bit wrong, but yeah, 100%. It's one of the things we're going to talk about today is sort of thinking through what that looks like and what you should be thinking next week or two.
Got it.
Great. So I also want to talk about, again, it seems like your big push is coming soon, but talking about sort of editing the registration process. And Lori, one of the things that came up when we were going through some of those forms that we were editing the other week, I wanted to sort of just talk about everybody and bring to everybody's attention. That way you guys are sort of the shareholders of information that you can dissipate down. And that's what happens if you have a user who's playing multiple roles of JCC Maccabi this summer. And again, some of those instances you'll see are outlined here. And that's any level of a host family and a volunteer. And that's simple, right? When you're checking your level of participation, you're checking host family volunteer, and then it's going to drop down and you're going to click both. That's easy. You may have an instance where it's a host family or a coach chaperone. In that instance, we always want to see that if the coach chaperone has a partner, has a significant other, who else is living in the home that could potentially fill out that head of households for them. In that instance, we would only need the coach or chaperone to register as a coach or chaperone. Their household information would be taken care of by somebody else, and their credentials as a coach or chaperone would get them access. They wouldn't need a host family. They'd be able to pick up kids. They'd be able to drop off kids. That coach and chaperone's credential will give them access. So if we have a coach who's also a host family, our first go-to is always, can they have another member in the household register as the primary household member, and they'll register as the coach or chaperone. In the instance that isn't the case, maybe it's a single individual and that's not something that's able to happen, we can talk through sort of what you're seeing here in the bottom of your screen, and that's adding a form to a user. So what we can do is we're always going to want the individual to first register for the level of registration that has the most amount of questions. So in this instance, it would be the coach or chaperone level of participation. So we'd ask them to complete their registration as a coach or chaperone. We'd go into the system, we'd click on their status bar, and you can see in the bottom right-hand corner is Add Forms. If you go ahead and click on Add Forms, it gives you a drop-down of all of the forms associated with any user in the registration. And we can go ahead and we can add those host family questions to this user's form, to this user's registration, Once you hit that blue add form, you'll see that it appears, and I sort of highlighted it on that far right-hand image for you. So it gives us the opportunity to add pieces of a level of registration to an individual user. Again, in the instance, you may have somebody who's a host family or a volunteer in a VIP. We always want the host family volunteer. You'll notice that on the confirmation pages for your host families and volunteers, it's the option to indicate if that user's a VIP. You'll check that off when you're confirming, and then what will happen is we will also print them a VIP credential that will give them access to any of the higher level entry things that they'd like to sort of go all behind the scenes passes. And again, you'll note that, as we'll learn in one of our later trainings, by clicking off on their confirmation page that they are, in addition, a VIP. Again, one of the other things you'll see is a host family or volunteer, and a volunteer who's also a JCC Association staff or JCC staff person down at the Marcus JCC. We need them as a host family volunteer. The JCC staff is really going to be, if you decide to credential the people who are going to be working at the J during the week of, that's going to be their level. It's going to be people who are just sort of around the J and really aren't doing anything else but working in the J and sort of passing and doing their normal jobs. Anybody who's volunteering, anybody who's coaching, anybody who's touching the games at a higher level, we do want to get them in the system and registered at that higher level.
So do you have a chart that shows the levels, like highest to lowest?
Yeah, I mean, I can sort of create you a flow chart. It's sort of.
Or you could just tell me and I can write it down, but I don't know.
Yeah, I can make you something pretty. I'll send it on over.
So I got a question, because I was actually thinking about this. Because I know, like, when I go in, like, I have a back end account. I don't have a front end account at this point, but I got my invitation yesterday. Sign up my kids, all that. I would be the host family volunteer VIP level. So at that point, I can still sign myself, and I can be the head of family, because I'm not a coach or a delegation head.
Exactly.
I don't need to have my wife do that. I can, and me be separate. But then and this is just really a really very unique situation. Do I have to use a different email address than the one I have my admin account with?
No, you shouldn't. You should be fine.
Okay.
Because they're different accesses through different websites.
Okay.
So the one thing, Jordan, that you do want to keep in mind, though, is that your wife is still going to have to register.
Right.
She's going to register as a member of the household. It's literally just a basic information page that she'll have to complete, and she'll be all set. You'll register your kids as athletes. You'll register yourself as the primary household member. And then what we'll do is we'll go into the back end, and we will add that VIP credential. We will add any additional forms that we would need to for you, and then you'd be set. But the system would, when the matching process took place, would see you first and foremost as a host family and pull your information into the housing matching system.
Right. And so that'll probably, so basically for any of the committee people that we were in the room with on Wednesday, that's essentially the process for any of them who a good number have kids participating or spouses who are volunteering or things like that.
Exactly. And again, we can always add forms on, but if somebody is going to be the primary household member and they're the only one who can fill that role, that's always the information we want first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell me the flow, or
really a level? Laura, let me build it out for you, because it's not really a level, because there's some that intertwine a little bit. I can get it to you by the end of the day today, so you'll have it.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure I know. But just 100%. So we're clear, they only register at one level, and then you have to add the other forms through the back end.
Exactly.
And then do you email them to tell them that, or?
No, again, you're going to want to communicate. It's going to be a smaller group, right? Those are really the ones that you're going to be working with. It's going to be your coaches and your chaperones, and it's going to be your higher level VIPs and committee chairs. Everybody else is going to go in and register normally as they would, as their host family, as their volunteer. It's going to be those guys who, again, are going to be coaches and chaperones who are also host families, or your VIP committee chairs who are also going to be host families. That's where you're going to get into a little bit of the tricky ad form situation.
So do they have to register on the system before I can add that form?
Exactly. So you'll have them register at the highest level, and
which
then we'll
host
add
family.
subforms. Exactly. And we'll add the subforms to there. Okay.
Yep.
And again, I'll get you a one-pager that'll have a flow chart and sort of all the details out as it correlates. Perfect. Any questions sort of about this? Have you guys gone in and edited a registration yet? Have you had to?
But for example, Andre told me today that somebody that went in and signed their daughter up for dance added, a payment thing for spectator fee, like the $40 early bird spectator fee, but they're a local person, so they shouldn't do that, right?
And Dina, I went in and I checked, and they had selected Atlanta as their delegation.
Did they? Because if they selected
Yeah.
Atlanta, they should be
I
getting
don't
charged.
know.
They did. I looked, and that's why I was confused.
Individual?
Wait a minute. Are you guys there? I've lost you.
Yeah, you lost the screen because I'm looking in the system right now. I'm doing
Okay.
Yeah, and then I changed, because they were a Team Atlanta family, I changed her level of participation to host family and volunteer, because she's going to be a host family. But she had selected spectator, and she had Team Atlanta as her delegation, and it's still processed as a $40 spectator fee.
Oh, so we should fix that.
The last name was Weiss.
All right.
That helps.
Diane, D-I.
Sorry for the detour here, guys. Give me 1 second. I just want to take a look at this and see what's going on.
Yep.
All right, let's see what we can do here. All right, let me put the note here to the side. The discounts are there. I just want to figure out why they're not applying. Okay. Any other questions about editing and stuff? And again, let me look into payment and see what's going on there with that. Anything else that's come up so far?
That was one thing. And then the things I sent you an email about, but that's not really another question. And I don't think I put this in the email when I met with the temple yesterday. I don't think we added this question about, are you a member of a temple?
Yeah.
Was it there? I couldn't find it. Like,
should be on.
I saw like, are you a member of the JCC? Are you a member of a temple youth group or something like that? But I didn't see, are you a member of a temple? Because our community partners, they wanted to get a list of, kids that are participating that are members of their temple, so they can have like.
Of course. I want to know that where the information is, where it's coming from. Let's see.
Yeah.
Host family, general information.
And I know we've asked that like on other things, but we may not have put it on Red Hat.
Synagogue? And if they say yes, it asks which synagogue.
It does say that? I didn't see it. I was trying to create a report earlier.
Yeah, it's on the general information page for host family members and volunteers.
Okay, general, but it's not for the athletes.
No.
Because they're not really the member.
I know, but like when the temples were trying to figure out which of their kids that are participating are members. Do you see what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Let's see. Yeah, no, I mean,
sign up. Go ahead.
Is that something that you guys would want to add for your local kids?
Is there a way to add it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a way to add it. That's not what I'm asking. Like, so we have, you said 87 athletes who've already registered. Are they going to be prompted?
An email saying, we added a question, please log back in and answer it.
Oh, that's how you do that? Yeah. Do you think what is your thought about that?
Oh, it's easy peasy. If it's data that you guys are looking for,
yes,
we can easily add it.
And then
it only populates for Atlanta athletes.
Okay, and then we could send something to these 87 athletes.
Yep. Well, what you do is you filter for the system for athletes who are local to Atlanta who did not answer that question, and then you'd send them an email.
Okay. I'm assuming I could do that, or Jordan, you could do that, right?
Yeah, and my guess is, we'll wait like a month or so. There's going to be lots of things that people didn't answer, not just this, and we can almost send please go back and finish all of the questions. So it's not like just calling this one out.
I know, but for the ones that think they already did, we still need that info.
Yeah, but I would imagine at this point, every single one of those athletes that are in is not 100% complete. They haven't given you their
none of them.
Yet.
Okay.
They haven't given you, every piece of information. So to Jordan's point, even if they're in the system now, they may be missing. For example, I'm looking at them right now. They're missing a parent or guardian phone number, or they're missing question because they haven't been officially set with their team yet. And
Well,
that's part of.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lori.
I was just going to say, so that's great. We can add the question and then set up an email to go out that says both things. It can say, you know, many of you have filled this out and haven't completed it. But even if you have, we've also added new questions, something, right?
Yep, and you can, again, we'll sort of talk through it in a little bit about the emails, but you have the opportunity to decide to send those emails whenever you'd like, to whichever users you'd like, in whatever capacity you'd like.
Okay.
So then the scheduler is sort of the next piece of follow-up, especially now that it seems like you've made your big push to the community to sort of get in and start registering. It's, have you guys had the opportunity to take a look at your shifts again yet? Have you needed to adjust, add, delete anything? Sort of what has that process been like for you guys so far now that you're making that push?
Well, only intellectually revisited to know that they're going to have to be adjusted, you know, because we got them up there, you know, at the beginning of December, and we didn't have all of our venues. So things do have to be adjusted. And I sort of what I think needs to happen is they need to be exported to each of the pillar chairs and say, now that you have more information, can you please review these and let us know what needs to be adjusted for your particular committee?
So we were going to talk emails a little bit, but before we get off today, I'm going to show you, we'll revisit how to pull that report. So you guys have the autonomy to do that and send that out as you feel so inclined.
Yes, because I do want to start that process.
Just because as you're making your big push, you want to make sure at least that, you know, the options that you think you're going to have, it's always easier to take some away from them.
Yeah.
And you can always add as well, but it's sometimes if you're giving people all the options from the beginning rather than having to chase them down for specific shifts, a little bit easier.
Right. I mean, I think we probably have more shifts than we need or more spots than we need. We just probably need to add some venues that weren't there when we created the list.
Or may have been general at one point and are now more specific, you know, more details, 100%.
Yep.
So I definitely let's get through the email portion, then we'll jump into the actual back end. We'll pull a schedule report so you guys can see how to pull and look at that information.
Great.
So email follow-up, again, sort of upcoming emails and things to think about. So here are sort of the ones that you want to start planning out in the next month to 2 months. And again, those are, like Lori, you talked about before, it's those continuous touch points. It's making sure they feel like they're an active part of the process. As I said here, so the last thing we want to do is make them feel abandoned, like nobody's talking to them. So the ones that you want to start thinking about are going to be those volunteer confirmation emails. Now that we're making that push, and this is going to include the details of the specific shifts that they've included, that they've signed up for, in addition to that sort of download to iPhone, download to iCalendar, download to, you know, Google Calendar capabilities, so they'll get that email from the system and they'll download it directly to their calendars. So we want to start working on language. I know, Lori, that last email that I had sent you guys, the follow-up had the link to some of the language. Take a peek in there, use those as some draft points. But I would say let's put a deadline of, 2 weeks to sort of have this information built into the system and get them ready and generated to go out. So
are these automatic? Like, so when they sign their shift up?
Yep. So with all of our emails, they can be automatic or they can be pushed.
Okay.
So these will be ones that will be set up automatically. So once the user registers, they get the email.
Got it.
And to that, we'll be able to push as well. So when we're a week out, we'll be able to push to the system a reminder, here guys, just a friendly reminder, these are your shifts next week.
Got it.
So the other one is going to be host family check-in, right? For those guys who you started to register to help with the recruitment process. It's tell your friends, have you shared the story? Although for you guys, I don't know if this is necessary. Because with 550 local athletes, you don't want to push host families because you got more than you need already.
Right. I think for now we should plan on not doing that one until we see what happens.
Yeah.
So maybe that one switches to volunteers, right? So maybe that one is, in addition to your shift, it's have you told your, thank you so much for volunteering. Have you told your friends? And maybe that one is triggered to go out when somebody signs up as a volunteer, and then only when they specifically select their shifts, they'll get the secondary email.
So when they sign up to volunteer but haven't picked a shift, they'll get an email that says, tell your friends.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you so much. We're so excited that you're willing to be a part of this wonderful experience. We'd love for you to put your website link, information like that to direct them back. maybe, your faith, things that they can share outwardly.
Right.
Again, thinking moving forward, starting to brainstorm. And again, so those are your 2 for the next 2 weeks. And then thinking the next month to 2 months, you want to start thinking about your orientations. When are your orientations? When are your open house nights? When are you bringing people in to share information? And
we
then
have
what
those on the schedule already.
Okay, great. So just getting those builds out and getting them uploaded into the system is going to be sort of that next focus.
That information was on that automatic thing when people register, the letter I gave you from Amy and Libby. I think it had the 5 or 6 nights of orientations.
Okay. I would send a friendly check-in reminder anyway that says, we know we shared this information with you when you registered. Thank you so much again. It's coming in 3 weeks. It's coming in a month. And just have those in the system ready to go. So when you hit that mark of like, okay, we're 3 weeks out, or okay, we're a month out, you just go in the system and you hit go.
We could probably also preload the new shifts are ready, because I know that, we're, how we're kind of trying to delay some of the messaging on volunteer shifts till we have the schedules set. We could probably have it all set, but not ready to, and then once we are done and know that the, Lauren's team and everyone has done what they need to do, send those emails out and they're already ready to go.
Question about the orientation email and all that. So if there are 5 or 6 different ones, do we use RegPack to have people sign up for them? Like, how do we do that?
You can. That's up to you. You certainly can. It gives you the opportunity. What you would do is you'd sort of make it a volunteer shift. You'd have people sign up for the volunteer shift, and then you can have an iPad that people check in on. I will be honest with you. It would be amazing if you did that. You would be the first host community to do it.
No,
it would mean
I'm not.
It would mean having the technology to support it. Alternatively, you can use, a Doodle or a Google Doc, and you can have them sign up that way, and then you guys can track it manually.
Like, this is for anybody that signed up to volunteer or host. We pull that information from RegPack. How do other communities have them RSVP, or they just give them the dates and say you have to come to one of them, is my question.
So communities do it differently. Some want RSVPs because they want to ensure that everybody has signed up for one and that they have the food and the seating and the tables. Other communities will do open house where you're signing in, where it's dictated that it's mandatory that you attend at least one. And it's signing in when you go, and then it's leaving yourself enough time to follow up and host 1 or 2 additional makeup ones and follow up with the people who didn't sign in, and then it's the cross-referencing of those lists. Again, if you are brave and you're tech savvy and it's something you're comfortable with, what we can do is once people have registered, we can send them the opportunity to select a volunteer shift, which is going to be one of the orientations. So we would add shifts to the system. They would select which shift they wanted. That would be them, quote unquote, signing up. When they walked into that orientation, you could have a team of 5 or 6 people with iPads, which allows you, when they walk in, you scroll to their name, you click their name, and they've checked in. And then you have that information in the system. It just is if you're comfortable with the technology or not. But it's there if you want.
What do you guys think, Carissa and Jordan?
I mean, I think, well, one, we want to make sure that they all attend all these trainings, so it would make the recording of that very easy. It could be something, I know one of our next steps on this call is getting our next level of volunteers trained. I don't know if this is something where we really bring Rick and Michelle in and say, this is kind of like your big next task. And I know Rick's eager to do something anyway. And how, kind of set that up for them. So from a compliance, internal compliance, like making sure it's done, I think it's great. Google Docs are tough because it's just, if you feel like filling it out, and if we really go back and do it all, this is more automated.
Yep.
And we do have the iPads, right?
We have 4.
But I'm confused. I was just saying, like, through the system, when people have said they're volunteering and we tell the volunteers, you have to come to an orientation, I was just asking, do we use RegPack to have them sign up? And that's your answer, like, we could do that, but then, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you 100% can. That's what I'm saying. And you can have them sign up. You can track their check-in. You have the capability to do everything digitally.
You could do check-in through RegPack now? Like
Oh, yeah.
check in for a shift?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's all new to me because
You do it back then too. It's just, again, it's technology. It's, do you have the tech savvy team? Are you comfortable with it? Again, I live for this stuff. I would love if you had volunteers that you, or people on your team that you thought could do this, would love to train them to do this. It would make it seamless.
I was just thinking that it could be like an automatic thing when they sign, like, you know, you're saying there's an automatic thing and a push. Why wouldn't we make it an automatic thing when somebody signs up to be a volunteer? You said we would, like, one automatic thing was now tell your friends about it. It could be 2 bullet points. Tell your friends about it and sign up for volunteer training.
Can I think what she's talking about is how we record the RSVPs.
Right.
If we make the automatic push through RegPaks and have them sign up for a date, when they show up, instead of like what we did for tryouts and highlighting a spreadsheet, we would have an iPad there and they would find their name and they would click check in. So it would all populate electronically instead of having to hand enter. John Smith attended on Monday, January 18th. Like, it would just be there and we could pull a report for it.
And I think that sounds ideal, but I mean, I know that Jordan or Sam was talking about OC, that they tried to do something with volunteer.
She tried to have them select their volunteer shifts. This would be different.
Yeah. I couldn't remember what she was saying took forever, but she said they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about timing, Chris? Do you think that would take too long to even have people manually check in or not?
Dina, does it just have to be iPads or can it be laptops too?
That's a very good question. Again, you guys would be groundbreaking with me here, so let me double check.
We're groundbreaking in every way.
Oh, in so many ways. You have no idea.
And I'm so upset I'm missing opening and closing ceremonies. I honestly, it's mobile friendly, so you can probably do it on your iPhone.
Which would be even quicker, yeah.
Yeah, because I can imagine.
Ever see people with your iPhone just standing there?
Yeah, I think that would be fine. Because all we'd have to do is they tell us their name, we'd pull it up, provided that the internet works, and then we just select check in.
Like, we can be the one checking them out.
Yeah.
They give us their name and we just do it.
Yeah. It's like when you go to like Cycle Bar and you have to check in for your bike.
Right.
You see your name and then you press here.
Okay. Last question about that for me is, let's say we send them that automatic thing and say sign up for your shift, and they're like, I don't want to sign up for my shift right now. Then what happens?
They can always go back into the system and sign
up. I know they
shift.
can go back in, but then we would have to schedule another email to pull people that haven't signed up, and just that's all we would do to do. Okay.
So, Lori, that's part of just sort of the regular process, and it's part of, to Jordan's point, we're going to have to talk a little bit about the next trainings and what you guys are comfortable with moving forward, because you're going to go in and you're going to pull reports regularly, because it's not only what do people sign up for, who didn't sign up, where do we need to push, do we need to push for food volunteers, do we need to push for transportation volunteers, so you guys are going to be monitoring that stuff regularly.
Okay, got it.
All right. So again, as far as emails are concerned, and then the other fun thing is, are there teasers, right? Are there fun things about the event? Are there fun things about your community? So it's not just like, here's a bunch of information and a call to action for you, but fun things, right? Do you have fun memes? Are there fun videos? Is there anything that you're sharing with your athletes, that you're sharing with our visiting delegations, that could be fun, that highlighted Atlanta and what you guys are doing? Are you announcing anything special along the way? Are you unveiling artists that are going to be, so find fun ways to engage. So I encourage you to start thinking about that stuff now. And I think, Jordan, you nailed it on the head. The more of these that you can build ahead of time, the better it's going to be. And I would love to tell you I have examples for everything, but God bless our communities, this hasn't been something that they've necessarily been interested in. And I'll be honest, aside from Fort Lauderdale, it's been the bare minimum. So the opportunities are endless, but it's up to you to how far you want to push them. We've got the minimum requirement of emails, and I'm going to stick to you about those. But where you can take this is imaginable. I mean, you guys can just take it wherever you want to go and can use the technology any way you want to. So if you guys are on board and interested in pushing forward with some stuff, I'd love to sort of, again, let's put some fun teaser emails together. Let's see what we can do for digital check-in, and let's see how we can make this work.
Like, mostly for athletes, and is that what you're saying? Like, just fun things?
Yeah, I mean, your host community too, right? Your host family. Is there a milestone? You have gotten, 300 host families.
Right.
Are you doing where you're doing a movie screening at the JCC and you want to invite people? Well, as a thank you for registering to be a host family, we'd love to invite you and your family in. And what are the things that you can do? Have you announced where opening ceremonies are yet? Are you doing that as a big announcement that you send to people? Are you teasing any information about opening ceremonies and which artists may be there? And just thinking about how you talk to them in ways that aren't just, here's where I need you for an orientation. Here's what you need to do. Here's when your kids are coming. Thanks for doing this. But fun things created as well.
And I think, some of the social stuff we've been doing can translate into that. And so, kind of we can connect with the marketing group and, when it's 100 days out, or we could do a 36 days out, whatever it may be.
Exactly.
And then, we were talking about the closing ceremony when we want to announce that officially, that'll get people excited.
100%. And to that, in all of these, and I think we talked a little bit about it before, we can put all your social media handles. So it pushes back full circle, that we can push these emails to host family members who probably aren't following you on Instagram or aren't following you on Facebook right now. And we'll put those handles into these emails. So when we push them out, they're getting that information about you and are now following you on those social media platforms as well.
Got it. So
that certainly has.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy world. These millennial things, they've certainly changed things up a little bit. Carissa, you're one of those, right?
Yeah, technically I am, yes. But I'm an old millennial.
I was gonna say, I think you and I qualify for what they're now calling geriatric millennials. I think we're right on that cusp.
Absolutely.
How old are you, Dina?
Over there.
I am 33.
Wow. Okay.
Not what you were expecting?
And the rest of Laura and I are in the forgotten generation, so
Yeah.
That just means that somebody who goes home and listens to vinyls. So it's all.
We're not that old, please.
No.
But
that's what I identify with.
You guys have the ultimate control here, and it depends on. And as things get crazy, you're going to have less and less time for this stuff. So again, the more you can build now, the more creative you can be now. I encourage you to do it. But again, thinking in the next 2 weeks, we definitely want to get those volunteer confirmation emails together. We definitely want to get, again, if it's not the host family check-ins, it's the, volunteer tell a friend. It's the, did you sign up for a shift? It's the make sure you complete your registration. It's just those little pushers. And then again, thinking in the next month or so, the orientation reminders, and throughout it, what teasers do you want to share?
Did you, on the one, I haven't looked at all the letters that are just sort of down there. Are some of those down there that you want me to pull out and customize?
So
on RegPack, or these are just...
I mean, there are templates in there, and in that, and I'll resend it to you, but I sent you a Google pack.
I just didn't know if it was already... I know on RegPack there's some things that are down there already. I didn't know.
Yeah, you can go in there and you can see. If you go into your emails, there are a couple templates that are in there. But again, most of these are going to be built by you.
Okay.
And I'll send you the follow-up. But again, we've got a template built for you with your logo. So you'll build all of your emails in there and get ready to send them from that context.
Jordan, do you want to maybe get together? Are you traveling next week? I can't remember what you're...
No, I travel on the 22nd, and I'll be gone almost for 2 weeks straight.
Right, so we need to get together before then. Maybe you and Rick and build these emails.
Right.
And we need to get Rick trained a little bit.
Yes.
So
we'll talk about that. Okay.
And again, I'm here for you guys through all of it, right? Like, I'm not handing it over to you guys saying, go to the wolves, you're on your own. Certainly, I mean, it sounds like you guys have a handle on it, but any questions, any setups, I'll run through the first one or two with you to make sure you're comfortable, and then sort of really hand the torch over to you guys.
Dina's the best.
Hey, thanks, Carissa. Well, we've got an amazing team, right? That's how we do this.
Absolutely.
You guys are like, Jordan, again, when Jordan said he was tech savvy, there was a smile on my face that it was amazing.
You're like, we're in.
But yeah, that's sort of the emails and things to think about. And now, again, I wanted to turn to you, and then I definitely want to jump in and pull the schedule report for you and work through that. But while I have you guys, again, we've sort of covered some, but any general questions about features of the system, we're going to add that question for your local Atlanta athletes about synagogue attendance. Do you want it for your coaches as well, or just your athletes?
Coaches would be cool.
Do you say it again, Carissa?
I would do it for coaches as well, just because.
Yeah, maybe temples want to honor people that are volunteering as a coach,
Mm-hmm.
So with your delegation, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I can't imagine why, but they seem, everybody always wants all the information.
Why not? And then I know you're going to have a limited number of delegation heads, but do you want us to pose that question to them as well?
I don't think you need to give it to the delegation heads.
Yeah, I think we'll know all of those.
As soon as we get off this call, he's going to register himself.
Andre.
I'm already registered.
Oh, man.
I registered my husband as the primary head of
We'll make sure Andre gets in there. He's in the system. He knows how to do it. He just hasn't registered.
But I definitely want to make sure that just if he has any questions, and again, I'll circle back to him. I just want to make sure he's comfortable so that he can answer the questions as well.
He said he just shouted over the cubicle that he's registered.
All right, so maybe it didn't last 24 hours.
The last 24 hours?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
There you go.
Hold on a second. I'm going to check that.
There you go. Did you know this call was happening on?
No, he didn't.
So, and again, any questions about the user experience, sort of managing data? Again, we're going to go in a minute, and I'll show you how to pull that scheduler reports. You can manage the data there. But anything in general that's come up aside from that at this point?
No. What did you say about the early bird spectator fee?
That doesn't affect you guys at all. So for visiting delegations, there's different price structures, but it doesn't affect you guys at all.
But what did we say about the woman in Atlanta?
So I'm looking into it. You shouldn't have any prices on there. So I'm going to look into the discount and see why it's not being applied. Because it's in there. Oh yeah, that's me. That's not you guys. That is me. And I will figure out what's going on there. And we'll retroactively remove it from any users that may have it.
Perfect.
All right. So let me just go ahead.
I don't see any Andre.
What?
Uh-oh.
Let me see.
And it's right on the money because I literally, as we've been talking, have been doing a little bit of my registration, and I'm already in the system.
Let's.
By the way, I'm purposely leaving stuff out of my kids' registrations because I want to get the communications that say you have to
see what it's like.
Yeah.
Jordan, you're definitely leading the charge here.
Oh, he's in there. I see him.
I didn't see him when I did a search.
He's in there three times.
Oh wow!
One on the 25th, the 11th of January, and there's none in February.
Oh, we're gonna have to look at this. All right, let's look at the scheduler for a minute, and then we're gonna go call Andre out on this. All right. So you guys will see now in here we're looking at the scheduler. So you can see at any point in time you'll click on Tools and Generate Scheduler Report, and this will pull down for you any. You'll just click Download Scheduler Report, and it will give you sort of all of the shifts. Again, this is where you want to start when you're looking at them to see, what's still available, who hasn't come in yet, and what it'll show you is just very basically what the slots are, what time they start, what time they end, what's involved in it, how many total slots, how many slots have been taken to date, and then how many are remaining. So this is just your general, as things are filling in, you'll be able to monitor this way. There's also going to be the instance where you're going to want additional data, right? You're going to want to know who has signed up for these shifts. And at that point, you're going to Tools, you're generating a scheduling report, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to merge the scheduler report with the user report. And this is going to show you all of those user reports that were reviewed in the last training. Excuse me. And you'll go ahead and you'll be able to, select whichever report it is you'd like to use. You've got your volunteer report. You can go ahead and you can add that, and it will merge the reports. It will give you the information for everybody who signed up for that shift as well in that report. But again, to start, you guys are just going to go to your settings. You're going to go to your scheduler. You're going to go to Tools, and you're going to go to Generate Report, and that's going to give you that Excel of where your current shifts are and what they look like. Again, at that point, you can go in here at any point in time, click on the shift, and edit any of the information, including how many times, locking, arrivals, what it falls under, how many people you need.
What about if we wanted to add a shift?
So you're going to go ahead and you're going to go to Create a Time Unit.
Okay.
And it's that same exact box. And you'll go ahead and you'll put what schedule does it fall under, what's the label, what's the date, what's the time. And remember, guys, the one thing that we talked about is being aware of the location. So when we're talking about location, you'll see under the filter options that we've given things certain names. Right. So for example, you'll see Dunwoody High School, let's say, and it's perfect, right? It's already in here. It looks like when you guys gave us that initial report, somebody put it in as Dunwoody HS and somebody put it in as Dunwoody High School, which means they're not going to show up. So when people are filtering, we're going to want to make sure that if they're looking for Dunwoody High School, they want to click both of those. So be careful when you're creating new shifts. It happened here as well. When we're creating new shifts, we want to make sure that we're copying and pasting exactly how that schedule appears. We can go in here and we can make these adjustments if we want, or you can leave it as it is. Depends on how many shifts there are, what the time consumption is going to be. But
we have a lot of things to change.
Yeah. There's going to be some editing.
Yeah, that was all my fault because I didn't know.
No, but it's hard. And some of them you want to be separate. You want the baseball field and the gym to be separate locations, but you don't.
Right, and that's when we had Dunwoody High School. We don't have Dunwoody High School at all anymore. So
there you go.
Easy solution on that one.
We can mass delete, or can we mass edit the location?
Yes, you certainly can. So to that, let's say again, you're getting rid of all your Dunwoody shifts, right? So we're going to go into the system. You're going to go ahead. We're going to select
not
Dunwoody Senior is different than Dunwoody High School.
Okay.
And you can. I don't know what that Dunwoody baseball one is.
I'm not going to actually do it, but I'm just going to show you how to do it. We make sure we don't do anything we're not supposed to do. But you'll go ahead, you'll filter, you'll hit apply filter. You're going to go up here, you're going to hit all. And then you've got the opportunity of what you're going to do for all of them. You go to field, edit. Wait. Maybe not. Can you not? Hold on. Uh-oh. You may have to do them one by one.
Oh my goodness. I think that's what I remember having to do is one by one.
Let me play around with it, Kristen, see if I can figure out anything else. Or let me ask if I can do anything from the back end, especially if it's a venue like that.
Okay.
And worst case scenario, you let me know and I'll help you delete them. You don't have to do this by yourself. That's absolutely asinine. I will. You'll let me know when you updated and we'll have the list together. Yo, please, I would never. No. We won't send you that alone. You'll send me the list in half. And, we'll divide and conquer. But that's how you're going to pull the report from back here. So you guys comfortable with sort of that process of generating this to pull it out?
Yeah.
And again, we're video recording and audio recording this lovely conference call again. So I'll send you the link in case you want to listen to this again at any point in time. All right, so let's see quickly while we have this here. All right, we got him, January 11th. He's in. Yay, now he's got to confirm himself.
Right?
About Andre. He is
great. So I think, guys, that's really it from my perspective. I just wanted to get a sense of that. Again, are there any other questions? I'm going to make sure I fix this discount thing, and I shoot you guys an email today once that's solidified, so we're making sure none of your local spectators are being charged. Lori, I'm going to work on that level of participation flow chart for you guys, and you'll have it, if not today, by the beginning of next week.
not a problem.
Anything else that I can get you guys? Again, we're going to add that question for your local people about synagogue. Anything else I can help you with or answer or assist with at this time?
I don't think so.
All right.
I think we're good. We're ready to go.
Perfect. So it sounds like you guys are really, that push, that call to action is coming. So we'll circle back in about 2 weeks for a quick touch-in about emails and just make sure those are getting set up properly. The touch-in should really be like a half an hour moving forward, just to sort of make sure we're on track and moving. But again, thank you guys so much. We'll get you guys rocking and rolling and moving forward.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, guys. Shabbat shalom.
Bye.
Wait a minute.
Oh, hold on.
Oh.
Jordan, how
Yes.
are we trained?
So we want to get Rick access, Rick and Michelle. How do we do that?
Yeah, so I'm actually I'm going to send them an email, and as soon as we're done, are you around next Tuesday or Wednesday, kind of after school time?
After school?
Well, Michelle teaches, so I'm trying to set her schedule.
Or
I'm asking if she's off work. I don't know if they're closed. Is Epstein closed on Friday?
Oh, Epstein closed
Thursday and Friday, and I'm probably half day Thursday, all day Friday, and I'm gonna work from home Friday, so y'all can come over.
Let's maybe do it. And I'll just ask if we can do it on Friday while she's off
That
school.
would be great.
Because Friday is always great for me, and my in-laws are coming in town. So if I can
Perfect.
get out, great.
Pencil that.
and then tell me if it works.
So I'll send them an email just saying we're going to try and get together and just meet. And then I think the step from there is let's get them in, we can or can't be on the call more to fit their time, a time where they can chat with Dina and get, what they need out of the system in terms of how to pull reports and set up emails and things like that, just the stuff that they would be doing.
Exactly. And you guys let me know who those people are and what they're more importantly, what level of access and what skill set, now that you guys have that overall of what you have access to, let me know sort of specifically what you want them trained on and what you want them to be familiar with and fluent with, and we'll get them ready to go.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, guys, a pleasure. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
You too.
Bye, Dina.
Bye.
Bye.